Hello, beautiful humans. Welcome to your weekly reading for November 6th through is it November 6th? Yes, it's November 6th through the 12th, if I'm not mistaken. If I am wrong, I apologize, but I think it's the 12th. I'm pretty sure that it is. But anywho, we're going to go ahead and get into you guys' cards. And of course, since I'm always switching things up because I'm a Gemini rising, I am doing the weekly a tad bit different, you know, trying to get reacclimated, trying to figure out what it is I want to do. So we're actually going to be looking at the overall theme for this week. We're going to be looking at the challenge. And then for my YouTube peeps, I'm going to give you guys a glimpse into the card for Monday as well as Tuesday. And then, of course, you guys will now know that Wednesday through Sunday, I'm going to be doing over on my social network, which is She Do Society, and Patreon, as well as a preview into the overall theme challenge, as well as Monday and Tuesday of next week. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm keeping it fair for everybody, you know. And then shout out to April D because she won the little contest where she's going to get her personal guidance message answered in the weekly as well. So anywho, moving right along, let's go ahead and jump into these cards. Hopefully we will not be here as long as we have been the last 2 weeks. So our theme for this week is the 5 of Pentacles. Interesting. And our challenge is the 10 of Cuppies in the reverse. That's an interesting goings on for this week. Okay. So, that is a very interesting combination. Okay, anywho, so looking at our 5 of Pentacles coming into this week, something that comes to mind first and foremost, little heads up, there may be some financial challenges on this week. And if your payday falls like mine does, I got paid for my job last week. Yeah, last week. So this week is not a pay week. Pay week is not until next week. So if you're someone who got paid, you know, like last Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, however your payroll is set up, if you're someone who got paid last week, my advice to you for this week would be kind of be cautious about how you're spending this week. So if you're a person where you may typically you know, like go out to eat your lunch and stuff because like, you know, you're just rushing in the morning, you don't have time to kind of pack your lunch, I would suggest maybe packing lunch this week and kind of, you know, drawing the purse strings a little bit, because I feel with this, there could potentially be things that are like bleeding your finances. So whether it's like, and of course, I'm not saying this for one particular day because it's our theme. So this is literally an energy that's going to be hitting us from Monday all the way until Sunday. But it's looking to me in my third eye like a slow drip. So that could literally be you eating out, you know, with lunch every day, which is an expense you may be used to. But it could literally be other little things that are coming up, or someone needing to borrow money, or if you have a teenager like I do, it's like just different little expenses cropping up for them, whether it's like haircuts, like, oh, I have a project due, I need this type of thing. So it feels to be like, aside from your regular expenses, this is something that's kind of like doubling up. You know what I'm saying? And of course, we're looking at this more or less as like, you know, our background, like, you know, I've explained this to y'all for the last 2 weeks, so you know I ain't going in depth. So we're looking at our theme as the background that's going to be influencing all of the days this week. So this is just like, I'm not going to say the tip of the iceberg, but this is like a continuous kind of struggle bus that we're going to be on this week. So we don't know what we getting into with everything else just yet. So this is like kind of your, you know, your forewarned, forearmed type of warning. Like really watch your money this week. Another thing I feel with this too, and this is interesting because I rarely give like super practical, like everyday type of messages in these. But another thing I feel with this, because it feels like a like an amalgamation of different things. but all the messages that are coming to me are centralized around money, because I'm seeing also like losing money, like losing your wallet, or a habit I had to break myself out of. If you're like a person who typically puts your debit card like in your back pocket or something like that, or if you're a cash carrier and you stick money like in your pockets or something, I'm seeing money falling out of your pockets, your debit card, you know, falling out. Or maybe something, check your subscriptions, because it may be something that you were supposed to cancel or something that's supposed to renew this week that you should check on. Because, and with this, it doesn't feel like a Netflix kind of thing where it's like they're taking $11 out of your account. It feels to me more like something where, like an example would be like Microsoft Word, right? Like if you bought Microsoft Word last year, and like, you know, it's like $99 a year, something along those lines, and you've had it for a year, but you forgot that you bought, you know, the membership, like you forgot to cancel it because you just used it for this year or the last year or whatever. And like that renewing and taking like $100 out of your account, like it feels something like that. Or if you're like a business owner, if you have like, you know, like a website or something like that, and it ends up like renewing and auto drafting like $300 out of your account. So I feel that more or less like that. So keep those things in mind, like watch your spending, because unexpected expenses are gonna come up this week on top of things that you're already kind of, you know, dripping. That could be Starbucks every morning, whatever the case. And, you know, mind your cash money that you may be sticking in your pockets, your debit cards and stuff, because it feels to me like a loss of money that ends up putting you in a position to, like, lack of better terms, where you're like screwed. You know what I'm saying? Because okay, my guides are telling me to say it again. Don't y'all blame me for being redundant. Okay. So the whole thing is here, there's a lesson to be learned with the theme for this week, in the sense that there's like wasteful spending that's already happening, right? And there's other things that are like coming and marrying like this already existing wasteful spending or carelessness with one's wallet, purse, you know, cash, cards, whatever the case. This is something that's already in the works, and now this is kind of something else that's coming along, and you could end up being like double taxed in a sense. And I don't mean that literally, I mean that figuratively. Like you're spending $10 a day on Starbucks, and now it's something else that comes along that kind of mirrors that carelessness that you already have, if that makes sense. I hope and pray that that's making sense, y'all, because this is an interesting message to come out in the weekly, since I'm so used to speaking about intangible stuff. It's interesting with something like this. But what I could say already, if there's already a pre-existing wasteful spending or careless or mindless spending type of thing, and this energy coming to match it, where it's like something unavoidable type of thing, I feel that there's a lesson to be learned in that, where, and it's kind of like what we talked about last week, where it's this energy of like a self-neglect or not being consciously present, or, you know, not being a good steward of your finances, in so many words. So it's kind of to wake you up to be like, hey, like taking care of your finances is a form of self-care, believe it or not, right? Now, on the other side of how I could see this, like more or less on the emotional side, I do feel with this, there could be like a feeling of isolation with this. And this is me going like way to the other side of the Likert scale from what we were talking about with the money aspect. But I feel that there's like a sense of feeling kind of like an outcast a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if it's feeling that way in relation to money, because it's kind of coming to me in a couple of different ways. Like almost in a sense of like, and I don't know, maybe your family just hangs out like that. But it like, because the thing that I'm seeing in my mind's eye is almost like people sitting at dinner talking. And I don't know if that's like co-workers or if this is like your family or whatever, but it's like you being a lower earner than the rest of the people in this group. You know what I'm saying? So that's like one energy, how I'm feeling it is feeling kind of isolated due to finances, and they're saying not enough. So well, I mean, which kind of not enough? Are you saying not enough? Okay, well, I did feel that. I mean, it can go both ways. What I felt with not enough is like, I'm like a person who's not making enough, but on the emotional side of this, like, because the practical side is, you know, financially, okay, you're not making enough. But on the emotional side of this, which still goes back to what I was talking about last week in the weekly, is feeling not enough within yourself. And I was talking about last week how we perceive ourselves, like if we perceive ourselves in a deficit in like our self-esteem and not feeling good enough in general, it's like that's an energetic, you know, energy signature. And money is energetic as well. It's an energetic currency. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times our finances will reflect like our personal states. And that's still highlighting the fact that there's a need to, like I said, with the practical people with the money, it's like a need to really like dig deep into yourself and look at where those feelings are coming from, because it's something that needs to be addressed. And that's why it's like kind of being brought to the forefront in a sense, if that's making sense. I hope and pray that is making sense. So, I mean, if you're having trouble with your finances, it's imperative to, you know, I'm not going to say imperative, but, you know, it would behoove you to seek support from someone who can help you with that. Not saying you have to fix it all in this particular week, but that should be something that's top of mind. If it's not so serious to where you need to see a financial planner, like it would dead ass be something as simple as you budgeting better, or just kind of watching your spending, like I was saying in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? So it's more or less like helping yourself, if I could say it that way, because like I said, this is something that's been kind of going on underneath it all, but it's, I don't know, it's like, and I hate to, because I'm trying not to sound accusatory with this, but it just really feels to me like this is something that you guys have been doing that has gone under the radar for an extended period of time, but you can't say that you're not aware of it, because it's like, it's not top of mind, but you're consciously aware that you're doing this. And like, this is going to show up for you in a myriad of different ways. But if I could just make it make sense simply, just pay attention to what I said at the beginning on the practical side of this. It's like with me getting into like the emotional aspect of it, if that gets a little too convoluted, just kind of look at your money as a, like, and how you're spending your money as a reflection of how you can potentially be seeing yourself, right? Now, when we get into this 10 of Cups in the reverse, with that being our challenge card, that's still piggybacking on what it is I'm seeing as far as like you measuring yourself less than with other people. And once again, it's like on two sides where that deficit is not necessarily, and I'm not saying that the people don't, you know, not treat you well, but it's not really so much about how it is they're responding to you, and what's being highlighted is how it is that you're feeling about yourself. Now, the 10 of Cups being in this challenge position, that's letting me know that this is an inward thing, because I would venture to say, even if this was upright, right? So everything external to you is Gucci. You feel what I'm saying? If you're still feeling like this on the inside, and this is like a message that has been coming out for years, you guys, like it usually ends up coming out with Empress reverse, or like Queen of Pentacles reverse, Nine of Pentacles in the reverse. And I think we might have had that last week, not sure 100%. But even if this was upright, if you had all of the external manifestations of what happiness is, like if you had, you know, a happy marriage and kids, or not kids if you don't fool with kids, and you had a nice house and a nice job and, you know, all these dope things. If you're still feeling like this on the inside, or if you're still managing your money like this, it's like if you're living beyond your means, it doesn't matter what it is that your income level is. If you're living beyond your means, it's like you could still end up broke. So even though from the outside looking in, whether this is you individually, from the outside looking in, if your life looks super dope on the outside, and that's what you're presenting to the world, or if you have all of the stuff, things, people, whatever, that you felt happiness was, it's more or less a thought of like, If you felt gaining these things would make this feeling go away, it's not. If you thought making more money would make you not be broke, it's not. You feel what I'm saying? Because like, if you're living beyond your means, if you're making $26,000 a year and you're spending all of that, like you're paying bills and spending all that and not saving anything, and you end up broke, if you start making $80,000 a year and you carry those same habits and you spend that $80,000 the same way that you were spending the $26,000, you're still going to be the same type of broke. You know what I'm saying? It's just going to be on a higher bracket of broke. You feel what I'm saying? You'd still be living paycheck to paycheck. So I feel what the challenge is here, it's really like going within. Like, I mean, our theme in our challenge. It's like the theme is this deficit. The challenge is really seeing that we're externalizing our lack into the physical world. You feel what I'm saying? Like, if I'm feeling less than about myself, then the actions and the behaviors that I'm taking in the external world are going to be a reflection of this deficit. Because I'm at 5 of Pentacles and I feel not enough, because, you know, all of my friends have more professional jobs and make more money than I do, or all of my siblings make more money than I do. You know what I'm saying? Or I don't ever have enough money. I'm living paycheck to paycheck, right? Like, if this is the state that I'm in and I'm at a deficit, I'm not at 10 of Pentacles, I'm at 5. So there's a void in me. What am I going to do? I'm going to go out into the world and I'm going to be trying to fill this void. And how do we fill voids usually? By using this currency that we do have to go buy goo gobs of food to fill that hole in our soul, or to go gamble, or to go, you know, buy clothes and stuff like that, like ordering a bunch of stuff on Amazon. You know what I'm saying? It's like those are the ways that we try to fill this deficit that exists within us. And it's more or less like a perceptive deficit, because the unhappiness isn't coming from life circumstance, where you are in life, the people that are around you. Because even if, like I said, even if it was 10 of Cups upright, you still would feel that way. So the issue isn't how much you're making or where you're at in your life right now. The whole key is how it is that you're feeling about yourself, regardless of where it is that you are in your life and regardless of where it is that you are right now, if that's making sense, right? Now, going into our card for Monday and Tuesday, good Lord. Okay. Monday, this is interesting. We have the 10 of Wands in the reverse, and then Tuesday, we have the Ace of Swords. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, here. Now, with this child, I cannot talk today. With this 10 of Wands in the reverse, this is still taking me back to our theme and our challenge and the little scenarios that they're giving me, like the whole family thing. It's like, and I'm still not sidestepping the fact that there's this feeling of this inner deficit and this, you know, shunned, black sheep, outsider, less than, not enough type of vibes. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, regardless of how other people are treating you or responding to you, we have to address that that's the way that you feel. And then my guides are saying another thing. Child, it's so many different messages for so many different people. There's others of you where this is, and I've said this to you guys like 1,000 times before on this channel. I always say to be mindful of your speech. Like whenever you say things like, they think I'm stupid, they think I'm broke, like they think, like who the hell is they? Who is they? Right? Who they is, right? When we find ourselves saying that, that's a projection, right? And instead of saying they think, you know, I'm not enough, or they think I'm stupid, what you're really saying is, I think I'm not enough. I think I'm stupid, right? Like that's the truth of the matter. We're projecting it and externalizing it. That's still going back to what I'm saying here. How it is we're feeling within ourselves, we're externalizing that. And I mean, that's one of the main, you know, little tidbits about psychology is that, I forgot who the dude was that said it. It wasn't Sigmund Freud, but he pretty much was saying that it's impossible for us to clearly see something in another that does not already exist in us, right? Because if it didn't exist in us already, we wouldn't even recognize it. So we have to be conscious of when we're saying, you know, judgments like, oh, they're a manipulator. Oh, they're stuck up. Or, ooh, they don't like me. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a projection. And it's like, and if you don't think it is, right, just switch it to an I statement and see how that resonates with you, because this requires a level of self-honesty. Now, when we talk about releasing this burden, this is on both sides, right? Whether it's people external to you or this is within yourself. If this has to do with people external to you, and this is because you are measuring yourself, because mind you, in order to make a judgment, there has to be an expectation or a certain level, right, that you're expecting from yourself to live up to. Like, it has to be like, you know, should, ought, supposed to's. I should be doing this. I ought to be. I'm supposed to be. You feel what I'm saying? There has to be an expectation there that's coming from an external force. Because if you actually wanted to do something or be something, you would be doing it, right? But if you're actively trying to do something, right, like feeling like you should, ought, or supposed to be something, that's an expectation or a standard that has been set by someone that's outside of you. It's not coming from inside, right? So there has to be a level of honesty with oneself in reference to that, right? And if that's something that you even value in the first place, you feel what I'm saying? But it's needing to release expectations that are coming from outside sources, because that's cumbersome and it's burdensome to you and it's blinding you to what's really the problem, right? Because like I said, with this deficit with the Five of Pentacles, if your, you know, family, friends, whatever, feel that their standard, their expectation is 10 of Pentacles, right? You have to ask yourself if that's your standard as well, or if you've just been conditioned into that, or you just feel you should, ought, or supposed to do that, because you're measuring yourself up against, like, you know, a schematic that might not even be, you know, designed in alignment with what's right for you or what it is that you really want. So that's like a burden within itself, right? But this even comes from an internal sense on if you're taking on stuff that you've even self-imposed, right? An example of this would be like what I hear a lot of women say of like a good mom, right? Like what a good mom is supposed to do. Like a good mom, you know, gets up at 4 a.m. and, you know, does her skincare routine and, you know, packs her kids a balanced bento box breakfast. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, does snuggles with them and positive affirmations every morning, like whatever the case. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to recognize within yourself where these standards are coming from. Where does the concept of a good mom come from? Did you create that? Or is that you're measuring it to your mom? You're measuring it to, you know, a YouTube mom or, you know, a TikTok mom? Like, you know what I'm saying? Where is that standard coming from? Because I feel with this, yet again, this is very much in alignment, like what I was saying with the money thing. That's why I was saying, if, you know, that gets a little too convoluted, just stick with the money scenario, right? So it's the same thing where this is something that's been going on deep down inside, you know, or in the back of your mind. You're aware that this is a lot, but you've never stopped to actually address it. Like, what point are you trying to prove? Like, who are you really living your life for type of deal? You know what I'm saying? And another thing with this of how I feel this may show up in transit, just like how I was saying with this of how you're already like slow dripping, losing money. And this is where this can become metaphorical. You're already slow dripping and losing money. And then all of a sudden this matching energy shows up and is now doing the same thing that you're doing to yourself. It's a slow drip and it's, you know, taking money. But what I'm seeing on Monday specifically, this is an energetic thing. Now, how would this show up, right? This would show up as like burnout, complete freaking breakdown. Like you already have 1,000 things that you're doing, or you already have buku things that you're spending your money on, right? Or, you know, something ends up coming up financially and then, you know, your partner or, you know, your friends, parents, whatever, somebody comes with a crisis and you already have 1,000 balls in your hand that you're juggling. And this last thing ends up being the straw that breaks the camel's back type of deal. Or something so shocking happens to where you're just like, you know, frozen, where your brain is like, does not compute, and you end up having like an emotional breakdown. Or you end up dropping all of the balls because it's like you're already, you know, completely overtaken. And it's like this one last thing just causes the whole, you know, it upsets the whole apple cart, right? But once again, like I'm saying, because going into Tuesday with this being the Ace of Swords, the thing that's important to know with this, and hopefully, I mean, I can't speak too soon because we ain't turned over the rest of the cards yet, but I would hope that this is like an epiphany or an aha that's coming early in the week. You know what I'm saying? To kind of see how we navigate the rest of the week, but I can't speak too soon just because I don't know what else we got going on down here. But it's like, what I would hope is that this is a mental breakthrough of realizing everything I've told you so far of like, we can't keep going like this. You know what I'm saying? It's like having an epiphany that I'm spending too much or I'm doing too much. I'm stretching myself thin. And with this, both of these being 10s, this is an end of a cycle. And us going from 2 10s in the reverse to an ace upright, that's a good thing, right? Because that means when we're starting over in an emotional sense and then in an energetic / action sense, meaning your inner world to the external world, we can start over at the Ace of Cups and we can start over at the Ace of Wands, meaning that, okay, I'm aware I've been acting from this place. Let me address this, you know, because I have fresh energy, a clean slate, right? That's giving me the opportunity to take action moving forward, right? Because we have clarity of mind now. So we're literally Ace of Cups, Ace of Wands, now Ace of Swords. You feel what I'm saying? And we can utilize these as tools and resources to combat this and get us to the 6. Because what is the 6 of Pentacles about? It's about reciprocity. And I'm pretty sure yeah, that came up in somebody's, because we did the pick a card last week. I don't remember whose thing that came up in, like what number it was. I think it was 3, if I wasn't mistaken. For the individual people cards, not the love cards. I think it was number 3, where it spoke about reciprocity. But it's the whole sense of you're feeding into something that's not giving back to you. You feel what I'm saying? It's like you're manifesting from a place of lack, and lack can only beget more lack. You feel what I'm saying? If you feel dead inside and you're buying Starbucks every day to fill the hole in your soul, Starbucks ain't giving nothing back to you. You know what I'm saying? So there needs to be a sense of reciprocity because there's a level of self-neglect here. And I can understand how one could not see it that way, but in an energetic sense, that's what it is, because it's like temporaryism, like getting Starbucks, you know, getting food, buying, you know, a whole bunch of stuff that you're not going to use. That's not anything that's adding to you, it's taking away. And so the same when this comes to fraternizing with people. Like I said, if it's a family thing and your family makes you feel this way, the truth is that you're feeling this way and they're exacerbating it. But the way that you're a willing participant in the chaos is the fact that you're living up to their standard and feeling as if there's something that you need to prove to them. You feel what I'm saying? So that's the thing that has to be addressed this week. So so far this week, I can't say the whole week. That's the thing that has to be addressed as far as our theme and our challenge overall. But within the first 2 days, I feel Tuesday is a really good opportunity to have an aha moment, because this literally between Monday and Tuesday would be a breakdown to a breakthrough. So even though, like, you know, the 10 of Wands is in the reverse is like, well, the 10 of Wands just upright, that's being burdened beyond measure, right? Why do I keep saying Ace of Wands? The 10 of Wands in the reverse is releasing said burdens. But the beautiful thing is that you're releasing them, but it's almost like you had to be set up for the okie doke in order to release them. Because I feel that we wouldn't have had this epiphany any other way. So now the question that we're going into going into the second half of this, because I'm about to piece up out of here, and look at that, we're at 30 minutes. Good timing. I'm about to go over to Patreon and my network to do the remainder of the cards, as well as the preview for next week. But the important thing for you guys on YouTube to keep in mind is that the whole premise of this week is about addressing this deficit, whether it's in a literal sense with your finances, or it's in an emotional sense of this is how you're feeling about yourself. It's that not enough and the unhappiness that's tied to this. And you guys utilizing the energy this week to be honest with yourself, to address this and to start making steps in the direction, you know what I'm saying, of shifting this, in so many words. So I hope and pray that this is making sense. My leg, I've been sitting on my countertop. Ow, and my leg just went numb, sweet goodness. But anywho, I hope that this helps you guys, because this to me, just giving you guys a quick little wrap up in reference to this reading, this to me, like all of the I can't freaking talk, y'all. It is too early in the day for me to be so discombobulated. But anyway, but this is saying to me, like, what all of the weeklies have been leading up into this to me feels like the crescendo, if you will, because a lot of things that have been happening, yeah, it's like, you know, the eclipses and like all of the things, but I really feel this all goes back to a personal perspective. It's like how it is that you're seeing yourself, how it is that you're seeing your life, how it is that you're interpreting your experiences. And if we really want our lives to be different, right? If we really want to like experience joy in this life, for our lives to transform, for us to make the most of, you know, these energies and stuff that are offered to us on a regular basis, it's going to require for us to be self-honest. It is so easy to project. It is so easy to blame our finances and our life circumstances and, you know, family and just all, you know, shit people that we know, whatever the case. It's so easy for us to point the finger at other people and to say that this external thing is why it is my life is this way. When in reality, we're not taking time to think about how it is that our perspectives, the expectations we're living up to, our values, like how all of these things are influencing how it is that we're showing up in life, and how it is that we can be saboteurs. I'm literally trying to keep myself from sliding off the counter, y'all. I'm sorry. How it is that we can keep ourselves from being saboteurs in our own lives, because how we're perceiving ourselves, how we're perceiving life as a whole, like our worldview, all of that stuff is influencing the decisions that we're making. And, you know, whether we're aware of it or not, like I said, buying Starbucks every day, that doesn't seem like self-abuse, right? It doesn't seem like that, but it is. Because if you don't have the money for it already, it's like, instead of trying to cover up the fact that you're feeling less than stellar, how about addressing it? Because, you know, spending money on Starbucks ain't about to fix it. You feel what I'm saying? Trying to get approval from people who will never approve of you isn't going to fix it. So how about approve of yourself? Because I feel the only reason why everyone is, because, you know, this is the whole collective, dadgummit. The whole reason why we're showing up in the Five of Pentacles and feeling like this outsider, this outcast, not enough, you know what I'm saying, is because that's the schematic or the ruler that we're choosing to measure ourselves by. So instead of trying to measure up to that ruler, just pick another ruler. You know what I'm saying? Move from inches to centimeters, because that's the whole reason why one is unhappy. So I feel like it's almost like an objectivity that needs to happen. But like I said, this Ace of Swords is offering it to us. So I hope and pray that that makes sense, y'all. Y'all let me know in the comments what you think. I'm going over to She Do Society and Patreon to do the remainder of this here reading. And on YouTube, I'm going to be posting, you know, some little nuggets and tidbits throughout the week. So keep an eye out for that. But if you're not following me over there, I love your freaking face. And I will see you guys sooner than later. Did I say sooner and later? Y'all, my brain, child. Please don't judge me. I will see you guys sooner than later. Maybe it's because I can't breathe because I'm sitting up here, my big behind up here on this counter. Anyway, I'll see you guys sooner than later. And by sooner than later, I mean next week. Bye.